Yes, you read that right. Top 4 RPGs on the Wii, not top 5. Um, I only own 4 RPGs on the Wii, and there's really not a lot in general. Um, there's the only one I can think of that I don't own is Fire Emblem 2 Radiant something, Radiant Worlds or Radiant Dawn or something like that. I don't own it, and I'm sure there's more RPGs on the Wii. There can't be just 5. But as for right now, I only own 4. And I'm just gonna be making a list of my top 4 favorites. So sorry about that. I know it's a little weird having a top 4, not top 5, or even top 10, all that good stuff. So let's get right into it. Number 4 on my list is Last Story. I I have funny story about this game. Usually critics can suck it. I really don't give a shit what they say. They they all say the same thing, blah blah blah. But whenever I go into a game, I go to the critics not to really care about their opinion, but just to know what I'm getting myself into. So yeah, does that make sense? Just so I can learn about the game a little bit, learn about what the story is about, learn about some of the mechanics, and I kept what they said in mind. What they said. Now, this doesn't go for every single one that I saw, but not everyone, but most, was what I got was, okay, well, the story is cliche and uninteresting, and the characters are blah, you've seen them before, and the combat is the best ever to be alive in a JRPG, and it's just amazing. Buy it for the combat alone, it's that fucking good. And do you like my impression, by the way? I thought that was really good. But anyway, going into this game, I kept that in mind. I listened, I didn't say, okay, well, it's got to be true because they said it. It wasn't like that. But going into this game, I kept what they set in mind. And what I got, when I went into it, I was surprised and disappointed at the same time. The story is one of my favorites that I've seen in a long time. Long time. It was great. It was amazing. Out of all the Mistwalker games, Lost Odyssey seems to be the fan favorite. I don't really see why. This one, like, just the story alone in this game beats the shit out of Lost Odyssey story, in my opinion. It was so good. It was so engaging. It really grabbed me. The characters were amazing, in my opinion, again. This is just a great story, and the reason I say disappointing was because the battle system was extremely frustrating. A lot, not all the time. The core combat itself was fun, but it it's innovative. That's a fact. There's no denying that. It is innovative. It's unique, completely original. You've never seen a combat system like this. But as it turns out, it's their first time with a system like this. They tried their best, but it ended up being really not the draw of the game, in my opinion. It really wasn't that great of a combat system, but that's the reason I was disappointed, because the second I started up this game, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get used to this, right? This is going to get better, right? And it got better, but not much. It was still frustrating. The mechanics really weren't that deep. I never used my crossbow. I used it sometimes, not all the time. All I did was press A over and over again. All I did was this. Where the fuck? Wait, watch. I'll show you. Hang on a second. Watch this. Watch. This is the combat in Last Story. See? All you gotta do is this. Here's the rules. I'm attacking. I'm winning. Oh, dead. Okay, move on to the next enemy. Ba, 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 ba. Run away. Alright, I'll lock on. Hold B and Z. Run. Hey. Dead. Hey. That's the combat in a nutshell. People bitch about 13's combat being mashing the X button over and over again. That could not be further from the truth. I think you're getting 13 and Last Story mixed up. The game is friggin' easy as hell, except, it's the frustrating mechanics. But anyway, let's not talk about the negatives. The story in this game is the best I've seen in years, in my opinion. It was great. It was really engaging. I love the characters. The story in this game, even though it's only 20 hours long, it's worth the buy anyway. I'm not going to say $60 simply because of its length, not because of anything else. I mean, the gameplay is not the best, but, like I said, they tried their best. It's not bad at all. But I'd say $40 is worth it. Like I said, the only reason is because of the 20-hour lifespan. But believe me, when you beat this game, you're gonna be sad to say goodbye to your friends, because when I beat this game, I felt like I was saying goodbye to my friends. The characters really felt like I knew them, like they were my friends too, and they were just really well done characters, diverse personalities, blah 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 blah. Everything that makes characters great. This game has it. It's just a great story. Buy it for the story alone. Like I said, not 60 because it's only 20 hours long. But believe me, when you beat it, you're going to want to play it again, because the story is just that damn good. So let's move on from that. Next up, we got Xenoblade. All right, now this is the only game on RPG on the Wii that I haven't finished. Out of the 4, I haven't finished this one. Every other one I did finish. I just want to make sure the disc was in there. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm probably going to get some hate as to why it's low on my list. Well, first of all, how the fuck is it low on my list? It's top 3. It's number 3 in top 3 best JRPG on the Nintendo Wii. So how the fuck is that low? This is one of my favorite games of 2012, and I should have made a list. Well, actually, it's only March. I could probably make a late list, but forget it. Anyway, this game... This is the only game on the Wii that I haven't completed, but I got far. But apparently, according to my friend who did beat this game, he said that I was only 30% through. I'm like, what? It feels like I'm a lot further than that. Get the fuck out of here. So apparently it's a really long game. But, you know, again, this is another fantastic game. From what I've seen, the story is great. The characters are great. The combat is great. Everything about this game is great. You know, there's really not much too bad to say about it. It's a huge game. The world is massive. This is take Final Fantasy 12, but make it double or even triple the size. This game world is about the size of fucking Japan in general. This is literally 4 times the size of Skyrim and Oblivion combined. This is that fucking big of a game world. And I think the only fault I can think about this game is 2 things. One, there are a lot of side quests. A lot. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds, like 400 side quests. Literally. At least. Maybe 300. I don't fucking know. It's past 100. I know that much. So why is that a bad thing? Well, it should be pretty obvious that with that many side quests, they're gonna drop the ball on a lot of them. A lot of them are really tedious. Go kill 5 rabbits. Well, how did you come up with that estimate? How is 5 rabbits exactly a hazard to your caravan coming in, bringing bananas to the city? I don't really get that, and how you came up with that estimate. I don't know. I don't know how you came up with 5 rabbits. And then, do it again. Do 5 rabbits again by another quest giver. Why are you repeating the same side quest? So that's really only one of my main issues with the game. I would prefer less side quests that are more in-depth, rather than just a bunch of annoying ones with a few interesting ones. And the other one thing that I really can't stand is Riki. Fuck you. You are so annoying. You see this? You see this too? 1, 2. I hate you so much. Out of all the characters in that game, you are the one that I want to punch, but you don't even have a fucking neck, so I can't strangle you, and I could just kick you and you'll die. I could squash you. You're so... I need one of those little stress reliever balls that the therapists give you, because whenever he talks, leave this to Hero Pun. Crush Pow. Shut the fuck up. Is just so annoying. But all the other characters are amazing. I just wish he wasn't in the game, because he adds nothing to the story. He's just annoying. He sucks in combat. No, actually, no, he doesn't. Never mind. He's pretty good. But as a character, he's annoying. He's obnoxious as shit. But like I said, the core story is awesome. The characters are great. And this game, early on in Colony 9, this game has the second most emotional scene of all time. And you people that played this know what I'm talking about. There's no way you can forget this scene. You can't do it. I'm not going to go into any more depth, but it's the first Mechon assault in Colony 9 within the first 6 hours of the game. And it's just great. Very emotional. Again, I can't stress enough, this is a fantastic game. There's really not many faults with this game. aside from the tedious side quests and Riki. I don't know. Hi, sorry. It's late. It's like 10 o'clock right now, so I don't know when I'll upload this. So, but as of this recording, it's like 10:30 at night about. But anyway, this is a great game. If you have a Wii, well, what are you waiting for? If you want an RPG on the Wii, play this. God damn it. It's a great game. I really can't stress it enough. You owe it to yourself to play Xenoblade Chronicles. So, number 2. Now, I'm going to get hate for this, but number 2 is Tales of Symphonia 2, Dawn of the New World. Oh no, why is Tales of Symphonia 2 on your list? It sucks so much. Oh no, it's so shitty. Oh, it has no redeeming qualities. It's not as good as the first one. Where? Shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up. This game really blew me away. This game exceeded my expectations beyond belief. Another funny story was not to go into too much detail, but my brother's a wrestler and he had a match, and then my dad was driving him home from school and from the match, and while he was driving home, I was fighting the final boss of the first Tales of Symphonia, and considering this is a direct sequel, I called my dad and said, "Hey Dad, can you get this game? It's a sequel. I'm on the final boss of the first Tales of Symphonia." He picked it up and I got it, and I thought it was pretty funny. So I basically beat Tales of Symphonia 1 and started this game on the same day. And I saw videos of this game, reviews, negative reviews. I saw some gameplay clips. It looked like a good game. I really didn't give a shit what people said about it. There's plenty of games that I love that people hated. It's a good example. Magna Carta 2, loved it. Final Fantasy 13, loved it. Bunch of games, so I kept what they said in mind. I heard people say, "Oh, sissy main character," and that's not true at all. That's a complete lie, because I have never related to a main character this much in my life. This kid, Emil, he is me. He is me when I was younger. He's not even similar to me. He's like fucking... He might as well just look like me, because it was like, oh my, I can't, forget it. I don't want to go into detail, but, I saw videos of the game, I saw reviews, it looked great, and it turned out to be one of my favorite games ever. My second favorite Tales game, well, tied with the first Symphonia. Those are my second favorite Tales games, right behind Tales of the Abyss, which is my favorite. But, the story is great, characters are still great, even the 3 new ones are great. I guess this game has some issues too, but really, name me one game that doesn't have issues at all. Even Persona 4, which is my favorite game ever, has issues. Very minor ones that are barely noticeable at all, but issues nonetheless. But this game had issues too. Xenoblade has issues. Last 3 has issues. Tons of other games have issues. Every game has issues. No matter how minuscule the issues may be in a game, there's issues regardless. There's really no game I can think of that's completely without fault. And this game is no exception. Let's see, they changed all the voice actors except for Colette, and not always for the better. Like Genus, his voice sounds strange. Sheena, didn't like her voice that much. Not hated it, but Zelos was really well voiced in this one, but I prefer his original voice. And as for Lloyd, I'm a little bit mixed on his, because one, Scott Manvell voiced Lloyd very well in the first game, but the thing is, this game takes place 2 years after the events of the first one, so Lloyd is older, so naturally his voice should deepen, so I guess in a way it kind of works out in this game since his voice is deeper and different. It's not Scott Manvell, it's someone else, but he still voiced Lloyd very well. But anyway, I love the characters. The combat was same old shit. You played Tales of Vesperia, you played this game. You played Tales of the Abyss, you played this game. You played Tales of Symphonia 1, you played this game. What else is there? You played Tales of Grace Zeph, you played this game. Simple as that. I mean, everyone goes on and on and on and on about how amazing these combat systems are in the Tales games. Oh my god, they're so great. No, they're not. They're really not. They're good, but they're not really that memorable. I can think of tons of other combat systems that are way better. Let's see, action RPG wise. Star Ocean 4. God damn, I can't think of any. My bad. But you get my drift. They're really not that great. And not even just real-time combat systems. There's just in general. I mean, these are good, the Tales series combat systems, but I've seen better. You know, Persona 4, Digital Devil Saga, Batten Kaitos Origins, what the fuck else? Final Fantasy 13. I'm looking at my shelf over there. I can't really see all the games. You get my drift. These combat systems are just recycled. That's my only issue with the Tales games. That even Graces is really not that amazing of a combat system. Replacing TP with CC is not really being that different. It's just, ooh, a little quirk. Every Tales game is a quirk in their combat. Graces system is not that different from the other Tales games. It's really not. And saying it's the best combat in the series isn't really saying much because, the combat system needed to change anyway. I'm still waiting for it to change. We'll have to see how Tales of Xillia's combat holds up. But as far as, in my opinion, maybe I'm going crazy, maybe not. But I really don't think these combat systems are that fucking good as people make them out to be. And so that's why I'd say the combat in this game is one of the weaker aspects of this game. But it's still a lot of fun. I love Emil's fighting style. He's actually probably my favorite character to play as in the whole series because he's great at aerial combat especially. He's not unstoppable. Just lift the and Ravaging Tiger, Phoenix Rush, Raging Heaven, and I just kick the asses of enemies. And, he's got great ground style combat too. He's just my favorite character to play as. He's my favorite character in a video game, simply because I was able to relate to him so well. He developed so much because of his personality complex. He had two personalities, his timid self and his badass, I'm gonna fuck you up type personality. But, I love love interest Marta. The relationship was very well done. Tenebrae, if you don't like Tenebrae, you don't have a soul. Something is wrong with you. 'Cause Tenebrae is the shit. The monster collecting was really addicting. Even though it needed a little bit more polishing up, it still worked well. I don't know. I have some issues with the monster collecting system, but it worked well. What are some of my other issues? You can't level up the characters from the original game. Bullshit. That is my biggest gripe. You can't level them up, and you can't equip them, except for Emil and Marta. Those are the only ones that level up normally. You could equip them and whatnot. Why? Why are they guests, like guest party members, like in Final Fantasy 12 or Archives Fantasia or something like that? Why are they guest party members? That doesn't make any sense. They're the main characters of the original game. It doesn't make any sense. There's some other ones. I guess that the story itself doesn't really have a lot to do with the original game. They introduced not one time do they mention the 5 Design Grand Cardinals. Not one time do they mention Kratos, except for a small side cutscene. What else? Not one time do they mention Remiel. Not one time do they mention Yggdrasil. Not one time do they mention the 4 Seraphim, or whatever the fuck they're called. You get my drift. It's, it really didn't have, they introduced the Centurions, Ratatosk, blah, 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 blah. But all in all, it's a very well done story. One of my favorites ever, and that's why it's my second favorite game in the Tales series. Sorry I keep doing this. It's just that when you wear a headset like this, it gets kind of uncomfortable after a while. So sorry about keep doing that. Anyway, just a great game. Only play this if you've played the first one, because you'll be it's not completely required to play the first one to play this one, but you'll catch on at some point if you play this first, but you'll catch on eventually. But it's much more enjoyable if you play this, or if you play the first one first and then jump into this one. All in all, great game, very well done, great story. Characters from the first game are still as lovable as ever. The relationship between Emil and Marta is very well done. Love Tenebrae. Why this game gets so much hate, I don't get. Even the first Tales Symphonia had issues. This game has issues too. The first one does too. The story started off so slow, very slow, to the point where I wanted to return the game, and it took too long to get interesting. The combat was press the A button over and over and over. A, B. Hang on. Actually, here's another example. Watch this. Here's the combat in Tales of Symphonia 1. Here's my controller. Wait, can you see? What the hell happened to the quality? I can't. And how do you guard? Guard, backstep, tack, 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 art. You see stick if you want for art. It's same old, well, not same old shit, but that's another issue. The combat in the second game is much improved. Aimless wandering of the world map. Story doesn't always give you concrete directions on where to go next. That's the issues of the first one. Every game has issues. That's all there is to it. But if you like Tales games, if you like Tales Symphonia, there's no reason you won't like this one, in my opinion. Again, why this game gets so much hate, it doesn't really make any sense to me. I thought it was fantastic. And let's move on to number 1. Now, this one is another universally hated one. The only two, half of these games on this list got hate and the other one didn't. Last Story and Xenoblade got critical acclaim, especially Xenoblade. Tales Symphonia 2 got universal hate. It got hate. Not even mixed reactions. Everyone said this game is fucking garbage, and it's not. But anyway, this is another one, and it was really hard to decide between this one and Tales Symphonia 2 is my favorite. But I look back on my time with both games, and I found that I enjoyed this one just a little bit. Not even by much, just a little bit. What is that number 1? Fuck it. Arc Rise Fantasia. I don't know why I did Final Fantasy. Then I was about to do the Arc Rise Fantasia win theme when you win a battle, and then I was just like, you know what, this is turning really lame. Arc Rise Fantasia. Before this game came out, I saw some combat videos in Japanese, and the combat looked amazing. It looked like a little bit of a slower version of Grandia 3. I never played the other Grandia games. I played a little bit of 1, but not much. But it looked like a little bit of a slower version of Grandia 3, and that's not a bad thing because I love the combat in Grandia 3. But that's what it reminded me of. A little bit slower, but the art style, the character designs, and just the layout of the world map and the dungeons and everything reminded me so much of Tales. I'm not sure. Actually, no, you know what? This is a bit of a Tales ripoff. It really is, but especially considering how amazing the Tales series is, it's not really a bad thing. It's really not. I mean, the Tales series, except for Tales of Legendia, wow, that game sucks. Aside from that game, the Tales games kick so much ass. Their stories are great and their characters are great, and this game is no exception. This game, this really could have been a Tales game story. One of the greatest things about Arc Rise Fantasia is that it's at this point in time, it's a known fact that RPGs with outstanding combat systems tend to have subpar stories, and vice versa. And let's think of a game. Digital Devil Saga, amazing stories, but their combat systems are good, but not like super amazing, not super complex. That's a perfect example. With Arc Rise Fantasia is the exception to the rule. No matter what you buy this game for, you'll win. You want to buy it just for the story and nothing else, you win. You want to buy it for compelling characters, you win. You want to buy it for deep combat, you win. You want to buy it for deep mechanics outside of combat, you win. There's not just one draw to the game. You could buy this game for anything, and you'll find something to like. I loved everything about it, honestly. I went into it really not knowing much about it, with the exception of hearing some bad voice acting clips here and there. And in the end, when you play the game, it's really not that bad. Going into this game, like I said, it looked like kind of a low-budget game. Like I said, Tales ripoff. I really wasn't expecting much. I really went into it with low expectations. Not thinking it was going to be garbage. No, I mean, it looked like a lot of fun. I really wasn't expecting much in the narrative department, and well, what I got blew me away. This game, I give this game a nickname. Instead of Arc Rise Fantasia, I call it Plot Twist City, because the amount of plot twists in this game, just not even the twists themselves, just the frequency, just the quantity of these twists is just twist, 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 breathe, twist, 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 and then one final sucker punch twist, bam. There's so many fucking plot twists. This is one of those stories where you really need to put on your thinking cap and pay attention. Now, that could be a good thing for some, that could be a bad thing for some. What I like about this story was that it's complex, but it's not convoluted. Everything makes sense. There are some kind of random, nonsensical religions. Like, I still don't understand what North Noirism is. I still don't quite get that. Some other things that really don't make any sense. But for the most part, it's not easy to follow. It's not simple at all. Believe me. When people say it's simple, they're fucking on crack. They obviously haven't played a lot of the game. It's not simple. Just the setting is simple, but that's about the extent of it. And the characters, while a little stereotypical, they're great. They're they're very lovable, and that's something that the Tales games have been famous for a long time. The characters, and Arc Rise Fantasia, like I said, these characters are so well done that they could be Tales caliber. However, I'd be lying to you if I said that these characters weren't kind of rip off of Tales. Lark is definitely Lloyd Irving. Rifia is Estelle. Alf is Flynn. Let's see who else. Forget it. Surge is Zelos. Leslie is Judith, and those are the only ones. All the other characters are actually pretty original. But just because they're rip-offs, they're not complete rip-offs. Not completely at all. But you could definitely tell the game's influences. You know, and like I said, the story, so many plot twists, very engaging. Did not expect this story to be that fucking good. And that's essentially the reason why this is my favorite game on the Wii. Because of the story alone. The characters, like I said, are amazing. The combat and mechanics are so deep. The funny thing about this game is that they introduce to you things one at a time. I compare this game to Resonance of Fate a lot because as deep as that combat system was, this is the combat system. It's like a baseball. Catch the baseball, bam. You win the game of catch, go inside, because they throw at you all the mechanics all at once. That's it. Nothing changes. Nothing evolves. Nothing new is added. For 40 hours, you do the same goddamn battle system with no changes. You just battle, and you're so used to it. After battle number 100 in that game, it's just so tiresome because nothing new is happening. But in Arc Rise Fantasia, when you first play this game, when you do like the first battles in the game, you're like, what the fuck is this shit? This is boring, slow, not deep at all. It's deceptively simple, and I guess that's kind of what the game wanted you to do, think that way. But as it turned, as the game goes on, they introduce you more and more mechanics. At first, it's literally just either attack, defend, use an item, or use magic. And that's literally the extent of the combat at the start. And then they introduce to you team attacks. Then they introduce to you single combo attacks. They introduce to you single combo magic. Then they introduce to you team combo magic. They introduce to you XL attacks. Then Trinity attacks. And blah, blah, blah. And then introduce to you weapon customization. And by the time you hit the 18 or 20 hour mark, all the mechanics are finally introduced to you, and it's one of the top, 3 deepest gameplay systems I've ever seen. This is just a fantastic game. Everything about it is so deep. The story is very deep. This game is so good that just buy it for the story alone. It's that damn good. And the characters are, like I said, very engaging, very compelling. The music is not the best, but it's still really solid soundtrack, and this game is one of the best boss themes I've ever heard in my life. Not even kidding. Literally one of the best I've ever heard in my life. It's that damn good. But, not like the 2 main battle themes, because the battle theme changes when you get about halfway through the game. They're kind of meh, the 2 main battle themes, but they're good. The victory theme is catchy. Even that sounds like Tales. And this game has fucking skits, just like Tales. Okay? This game has skits, just like Tales. And it's definitely easy to tell where the influences of the game came. But because Tales is one of my favorite series ever, that's not a bad thing to kind of, go that route. So this is just a great game, and this I would say is worth $60. Because first of all, like I said, the only reason I couldn't recommend Last Story at full price was because the frustrating gameplay mechanics and the length. And this game is the opposite. This game has the story that you want in an RPG, has the characters that you want, and has the gameplay that you want. It's long. It's at the very, very least, bare minimum, without touching any side quests, is 50 hours long. That nothing more needs to be said. If you want your money's worth in terms of just length, then you win. Like I said, I'll go down the list again one more time just to remind you guys. You want to buy it for the story? You win. You want to buy it for the characters? You win. You want to buy it for the game, combat, and mechanics? You win. The only real negative things that people seem to complain about in this game is the voice acting. And while I'm not going to say that's entirely untrue, play Chaos Wars and we'll talk. Play fucking Magna Carta Tears of Blood, we'll talk. This is not the worst voice acting. It's not at all. Some characters are poorly voiced from the get-go and never, like Adele is one of the worst I've ever. She's the worst voice in the game. That's not even not even an exaggeration. And her voice never grows on you. She sounds fucking awful. And I'm so glad she leaves your party later on. I'm not gonna say why, but she's not in your party for the whole. She's in your party for a little while, but not for long. So that's good because first of all, I hate her character. Second of all, whatever. Her voice is fucking. But what I noticed was weird was that even the characters that aren't voiced the best, as the game goes on, they get better. Like they fit into their roles. Lark sounds odd at times, but as the game goes on, he basically sounds really natural. His voice, I have no complaints. As you know, like I said, the voice acting not only does it grow on you, they get good. Like they improve. Yeah, sure. Are the voice is this budget voiceovers? Yeah. It's hard to deny that. But you know, Alf sounds a lot like Sam Riegel. I mean, except the actual voice for Alf is fine, but some of his lines that he delivers isn't the best. But he sounds just like Sam Riegel. So, and I like Sam Riegel. Sam Riegel voiced Flynn, and Alf is just like a Flynn clone, I guess. Rifia, I like her voice because she's like kind of a robotic voice, but I don't mean that in the sense that she has no personality, but I can't explain. Play the game, and as the game goes on, Rifia's voice will fit. Surge, though. Surge, the character Surge, I want to hear that motherfucker's voice in more games. I'm not even kidding, man. Guys, whatever the fuck, whoever, woman. Surge is voiced so well in this game, in my opinion, that I want to see him in more games. He voiced Surge so well from start to finish. His voice never had to grow on me. He was voiced so well, and I really hope that his career as a voice actor, you know, takes off or goes forward, I guess. Because Surge is voiced very, very well. Leslie is voiced well. Rastin is voiced well. Cecile is voiced surprisingly well. Lark and Rifia aren't the best at first, but as the game goes on, they improve, and their voice actors, you know, they fit into their roles more. Alf is voiced pretty well. Dinos, no at all. Adele, fuck no. But is the voice acting the best? No. Is it the worst? It's not. It's not the worst, guys. It's really not. I've heard much worse. Maybe it's just me. I really didn't think they're that bad. What was odd, too, was that during battle, for some reason, the characters sound really natural. Like, if you were to just not watch any cutscene of this game and just watch a battle and they say their combat lines, they sound really natural. Like, you're like, oh, damn, this voice acting is pretty good. So, I don't know. Like, hearing Lark say, piece of cake, that never got old. You know what I mean? So, it's a great game. Story, top-notch. Characters, top-notch. Gameplay, top-notch. Asking any more would just be greedy. Arc-Rise Fantasia, long game, 50 hours, definitely worth $60. It's really hard to think of too many faults with this game. I loved every second of it, and I look forward to playing it again in the near future. So, that's it for me. I guess we can go down the list really quick one more time. Last story, number 4. Xenoblade, number 3. Tales Symphonia 2, and then Arc-Rise Fantasia 1. Great games. Check them all out. You see? I don't know, fuck it. These are great games. Definitely check them out. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I was able to add some more games to your library. I think you'll enjoy these games a lot. Anyway, that's it for me. Peace.